Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. So today I have Nancy Rosales on the line, and she's the owner over at NR Consulting. And I'm proud to announce that we recently published her work in one of our Money Matters books, and it's called The Power of M.A.S.S. By Nancy Rosales, and I personally read the chapter and loved it, and I can't wait to get into this. But just to start out with, Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very excited.
Oh my gosh, I have to be up front. So every time I see your hashtags, so everybody listening, if you didn't hear the first episode, Nancy's been on our show before, the hashtag bookkeeping is sexy cracks me up. I love it.
Yeah, we have to make it cool somehow. We have to have that conversation of money cool because we don't talk about it. It's not a conversation we have every day. How's your bookkeeping going? You know?
I love it. And so I want to get into your system. So we're not going to have time for all of it today, number one. But number two, we're going to do that on purpose because we want the people listening to go buy the book. But I do want to start to get into the system. So the power of M.A.S.S. Let's just start with, what was the inspiration for this chapter?
My inspiration was just me running businesses without the concept of that I was a business. I kept having everything else in order with the launches that I did with my production company or with the ice cream shop or with anything that I started. I always had everything, organized. But with me personally, I didn't. And I didn't know what was wrong. I was like, what is the problem here? How come I'm not well put together? And so then it just kind of clicked. I'm like, why don't I run myself like a small business instead of me trying to, run a business? I need to act like a business. And then it just changed my entire perspective of how I was seeing my life, and what was successful and what wasn't successful was because I wasn't organized in my own personal life.
So your system, the power of M.A.S.S, the M stands for marketing, the A stands for accounting, the S stands for sales team, and the second S stands for self-worth. I want to go through one or two of these. Let's start with the marketing one. Teach us a little bit more about that, please.
Well, just in general, the word, the power of M.A.S.S, like you're so bigger than yourself. Stop thinking outside yourself and seeing what you could be without taking anything personal. It's like, wow, what can I do if I imagine that I was bigger than myself? And that's where I put the word M.A.S.S. I thought it was perfect. I was like, in Spanish it's el poder de más, which is more, and also M.A.S.S, like, wow, be bigger, And the first one's marketing, just that in general, because of Facebook and Instagram and all of social media, now there is a marketing funnel for your own personal brand, right? Back in the day, there wasn't social media, so there was no way to really even create something like this, because unless you got a PR company or someone was marketing you, that was going to happen. But now you have control of your own destiny in your own life, and now you can market yourself how you want to market yourself.
No, I love it. I mean, and when I think about that, so for some of the business owners listening, I want to take that a level deeper, because you go into this concept in your chapter about, and you kind of touched on it a moment ago, but when we first opened up the show, but the idea that you are a business in yourself. So marketing takes on a whole different thing. So I like in your chapter, you say, it says, treat it like the umbrella of everything you'll be creating in the future. My entire strategy is under my name, Nancy Rosales, Inc., and I funnel everything under nancyrosales.com. So tell us a little bit more about what that means to you, because I want to go a level deeper with it.
Yeah, stepping away from actually you and your name. And if you were hired by somebody, right, if me and you were hired by somebody and said, here's, $50,000, do something with this name, do something with this new product, which is you, what would you do? What would you want to see? How would you promote it? How would you market it? And most of us don't step outside ourselves, and that's what kind of gets stuck, right? But when you step outside yourself and you say, wow, I got this name, Nancy Rosales, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to present myself and show up in the world? And then it's different because, I'm obviously stepping outside and going, someone's paying me to make this person, right? And so I had to kind of that's really hard to do, because then you're like, oh, I don't want to look like this, I don't want to look like that. But if you really just program yourself to be like, I'm getting hired to make something of this name, then you create what you want to see in the world.
Oh, I love it. And I think it's such a timely concept and thought process, especially, with people thinking about other ways to make money or side gigs or all these other things. Like once upon a time before, as you said, when social media wasn't around and once it wasn't there, like it was just you. Like you just went out, you did your thing.
Right.
Maybe you went to some networking events, you went to Chamber of Commerce, you got dressed
Hustle.
up and you did your once a week thing or maybe a couple of times a week thing, maybe once a month if you're slacking, but that was like your brand, quote unquote. Now your brand is every time you pick up your phone. Can you talk a little bit about what social media has meant for you, and kind of how that's played into your world?
I remember having like an aha moment, right? The fact that I had the power to put it all out there, and then that actually, the moment I was like, oh my God, I actually am I'm a video producer. I can put anything out there. What should I do?
Yeah.
I froze. I froze for about,
you and me
about
both.
5 years. Yeah, right? We're like, oh no, we actually have power now. And so I froze and I did, different projects, and I just wasn't ready to launch anything because I wasn't in love with any idea that I was coming up with. I was like, no, I'm going to wait it out because we don't know what's happening with YouTube or any of these systems. So I'm just going to wait it out. I'm not going to pressure myself. I'm just going to, when it hits, it hits. And then I traveled to Asia and came back, and I was like, it hit me. Easy video success. Like, if I'm going to be on social media, I want to have fun. And I want to get paid. Like, is this even possible? And then it just hit me. And then from there on, it was just like every day I was working on the ideas and how I was going to launch it in the masterclass. And I was just so excited. And then I knew the fact that it wasn't work, meaning it didn't feel like work. I was wanting and waking up, wanting to do it. I was like, this is it. I'm going to do this. And so I've been doing it. It's been fun and teaching others how to get on camera, and it's fun, and I think that's what everyone's trying to accomplish is like having fun while you're making money.
That's awesome. And let's tackle one more of these. So let's get into the accounting one because I know you are passionate about that one. So the A and M.A.S.S. Let's get into that one.
That had like so many paragraphs, right? Everything else was like put it together, right? But that one was like, no, listen up, folks.
That was here you go.
because my parents did the best they could do, right? It wasn't. I never saw them do bookkeeping. I never really saw them talk. They never sat me down and said, "This is what a savings account is," or any of that. So it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just how life played out. And so when I figured out that I needed to have that education, just being really focused on spending time with my bookkeeping and accounting and understanding how broke I was and understanding what I needed to do to at least break even or at least do some cash flow. Like even the word cash flow. And the moment I learned the word strategy, I was like, oh, strategize your entire life, strategize your books and figure out how to play this game. Because at the end of the day, it is a game. If you play it right, it's fun. If you don't play it right, you go through stressful times and you go to depression and you're always broke and living check to check, which is most of us. So it's just like we got to step out of that and we got to make bookkeeping really like a cool thing to talk about. And maybe we can have, dinners and we can be like, how's your bookkeeping? Like, how are you doing? Holding people accountable to have it together.
I died laughing when I read, maybe go on a date with your bookkeeping. I'm like, what?
Right.
I know, but it's not the most fun thing ever. But the way to hear you talk about it, it's like, oh, my gosh, it sounds amazing.
Sounds like fun, right? And I actually called a few of my girlfriends and said, hey, ladies, I'd like to have a dinner and just talk about how we're going to be millionaires. Like, I sound crazy, sounds off the wall, but why not even have that conversation and maybe die trying? And they were
love it.
Okay,
I love it. It's so fun. And you have a routine for your bookkeeping. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I remember you have kind of a very specific routine that keeps you on track.
Well, I have a coach, Viviana, and she, keeps me on point. So I have a lot of homework all the time, and I get that done. And then she goes, okay, you got to execute on this, on these things. And I said, okay. And so I take what she teaches me, and every Friday, I call my bookkeeper and we're at it, and she's like, our hours passed. Can we talk once a month? I said, no, I need to talk once a week. We need to know why these numbers are not where they need to be. I need to know why you put this number here. And this guy thinks I'm crazy, but and then Viviana's like so proud of me because she's like, I'm so happy you're on top of him. And if he doesn't get it together, then you need to talk to him twice a week. And I said, you know what? Why not? I'm paying for the services. I want to understand my numbers, and this is going to make me or break me.
I love it. And what I love about it the most is because you're without doubt, I'm sure, their favorite client, because they're like, man, she's on top of it. Like, because the other type of client where they can't get a hold of them, or hey, I need that check, or hey, come on, and they're just like, but you're actively engaged, and obviously you have great people that are working with you and for you, so it makes it interesting for them too. I'm sure they're like, oh, it's Nancy, you better get a cup of coffee. We're gonna be here a while.
And
I love it.
And bookkeeping is so tedious that sometimes the bookkeepers think we're not going to check. And so for some time I wanted to I'm like, I think I should be a bookkeeper because this is everything, right? And so them knowing that I'm checking every number, every penny, then they're like, oh, we got to do more than what we're doing. And then that's why you can stay on top of your numbers. But I use QuickBooks. That's like everything for me. If it wasn't for that, I'd definitely not be organized. But I'm an ambassador for them because I believe that you have to have some type of system to keep you organized.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, Nancy, just to kind of wrap things up, let's talk a little bit more about NR Consulting and how you're helping your clients. So for the people that didn't catch our first episode together, all the new listeners, tell us a little bit more about the business, please.
The business became just people wanting to do what I was doing, which was, obviously launching businesses, getting things going, seeing me active, seeing me have fun. And wow, they're like, you're out there doing things. I want to do what you're doing. And so I took that. I said, you know what? I'm going to teach you what I've learned because I've learned so much just on all of the mistakes and the failures that I had done. And that I was, every year I was failing on something. And back in the day, I thought, oh, I'm doing too much. But now I think, thank God I did a lot because I learned from every single experience that I ended up getting myself involved in, because people would say, wow, why are you producing 2 TV shows? Or why are you all over the place? Or you're also doing commercials and, you're a scatterbrain. But now I'm using all this scatterbrain knowledge that I picked up through the years to actually have some type of new ideas and new concepts and knowing what worked and what didn't. So I felt like everything that you do is going to benefit you somehow, some way, even though it feels like it's not going to right now. It will. So that's all it is. It's I do my discovery, call in my client, and I said, what is going on with your life? I'm like, well, I want to launch a TV show, or I want to launch some videos, or I want to, start a business like your ice cream shop or your ice cream popsicle. I was like, great, let's first have and envision it. And then we work through envisioning what they want and have that very clear. And then we go through the other steps that I teach them, which is breaking down the entire strategy and how we're going to execute and make it happen. And then when they do make it happen, I just love life because I feel like I'm living through their dreams, right? I'm like, oh, my God, this is awesome. You launched your book. Oh, my God, And I'm like, it's so cool to launch a book. And I had never launched a book because, number one, I didn't have time. But number two, you got to think bigger than yourself. And I was like, still, even though I'm a woman, right? And I was Tina, I feel like, I'm not there yet. Even though we still kind of don't launch that. And then you happened, and here we are.
Oh, I love it. And your writing is amazing, and it's going to help so many people. So I love it. And I'm so happy that you joined us for the project, and I'm proud to publish your work. So it's absolutely amazing, and I think the readers are really going to enjoy it. So that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about NR Consulting, what's the best way for them to reach out?
They can get a hold of all of my work at nancyrosales.com. Keep it simple. Just my name, nancyrosales.com. They can either find about the ice cream, and we do cater for big corporations, or they can find about the Easy Video Success, which is I help you launch your own projects and videos and anything else that I'm doing, the nonprofit, everything is under that umbrella.
Fantastic. Well, Nancy, welcome back to the show. And again, your contribution was excellent in the book. And to the listeners, as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to pick up this edition of Money Matters Top Tips. Definitely know you're going to enjoy it. So grab a copy of that. There'll be a link in the show notes. And if you're watching this from our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, subscribe there, but also leave us some comments. Love to know what you thought and what kind of projects you're working on. And Nancy, thanks again for coming back on the show, and thanks for being in the book.